OSBC brings you the news. News across the country.
Good evening and welcome to the news across the country. INEC warned politicians against provocative speech during campaigns. ECO says exam malpractice lowers education standards. Entertainment news today examines Afro-Juju as a musical gem in Africa. Killed as police take over Enugu streets. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in Katsina State has cautioned politicians and political parties to avoid using provocative and abusive words during campaigns in the state. The head of the Commission's Selection and Party Monitoring, Alhaji Abdullah Ibrahim Humar, gave the caution at a stakeholders forum in Katsina. According to the INEC official, political campaigns should be conducted in a peaceful, orderly and matured manner. He said the law provided that a political campaign or slogan shall not be tainted with abusive language directly or indirectly, especially such is likely to injure religious, ethnic, tribal or sectional feelings. Ibrahim Humar warned further that political campaigns should also not promote, propagate or attack political parties, candidates, their programs or ideologies. He maintained that the Electoral Act directed and empowered the Commissioner of Police in each state and the FCT to provide adequate security for proper and peaceful conduct of political rallies and processions in their jurisdictions. The Minister of Aviation, Mr. Adesirika, has said that Africa has resolved to implement a single air transport market in Africa to advance liberalization. Mr. Sirika made a stone during his closing remarks at a 5-day International Civil Aviation Organization Air Services negotiation event held in Abuja. He said that single air transport market, being the flagship project of the African Union Agenda 2063, will boost the continent's economic integration agenda. According to him, the project will ensure aviation plays a major role in connecting Africa, promoting a social, economic and political integration and boosting intra-African trade and tourism as a result. The National Examination Council has decried the increasing rate of examination malpractice in the country. The Chief Registrar of the Examination Body, Professor Ibrahim Wushishi, made it known in Abuja during a workshop tagged the role of education stakeholders in tackling examination malpractices in Nigeria. In a statement made available to Newsman today, the NECO boss lamented the effects of the misconduct on the education system in the country. He said examination malpractice has a tendency to discourage hard work among serious students. It lowers educational standards, discredits certificate earned, and leads to the production of quacks, thereby affecting manpower needs of the nation. Also speaking, the Chairman Senate Committee on Basic and Secondary Education, Mr. Ibrahim Gaidam, said if the minutes of examination malpractices was not addressed, it could completely rob the education system of its credibility. He charged the media to play its role of beaming the searchlights on perpetrators of examination malpractices, while also calling on the National Orientation Agency to carry out sensitization awareness to villages across the country. Meanwhile, the Chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Basic and Secondary Education, Professor Julius Ihobere, called for severe sanctions on institutions found culpable of examination malpractices. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has dislodged that plans were on the way seeking the removal of the agency from the public service sector. The Director General NCAA, Captain Nuhu Musa, disclosed this at the closing ceremony of the International Civil Aviation Organization Air Services negotiation event held in Abuja. According to Captain Nuhu, this had become necessary because staff of the agency were supposed to be earning at least the same or even better than the people they were overseeing, adding that NCAA, being a public sector organization was therefore under the public service rules. He, however, noted that the NCAA is communicating with the Ministry of Aviation and the National Assembly to see how the process could be achieved, even though he noted it was a very long process. Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke has called on all indigents of the state to form a common front to endanger socio-economic and industrial development across the state. Senator Adeleke made this call today at the year 2022 Ede Day celebration. Governor's office correspondent Abdurrahim Adeklekun now completes the story.
It was indeed a moment of celebration and glorious homecoming for the governor of Osun State, Senator Ademola Adeleke, when he arrived at the venue of the year 2022 Ede Day, which held in Ede High School. Addressing his kinsmen, Governor Adeleke said, governance is a joint venture which requires that everybody must play his or her part for the desired development to come to pass. Senator Adeleke, while appreciating indigents that come from far and near, asserted that all hands must be on deck to complement the government. He called on all residents of the state to collaborate with one another in forming a common front regardless of political or religious differences. Senator Adeleke lauded the people for voting for him massively in the last gubernatorial election and promised that his administration will not renege on those things he promised them during campaign. Earlier, the team of Edeland, Oba Muniruddin Adeshola Lawal, Laminisa I, had commended the governor and his team and appealed to his subjects to continue to support the government. Oba Adeshola, while appealing to the invited guests to donate generously for the development of Edeland, called on the Descendant Union to make judicious use of the proceeds. In her goodwill messages, Yeyelu Adupe Adeleke Sani commended the Kabiyesi and the entire indigents of Ede for the unflinching support given to the state governor, Senator Ademola Adeleke, and prayed for a successful tenure that will meet the yearnings and aspirations of the people of Osun State. High point of the event was the conferment of awards on some deserving individuals and compounds, while a substantial amount of money was raised. It has been Abdurrahim Adeklekun reporting.
The head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemieson, has said that the Federal Public Service is being transformed towards attaining a world-class status through reform initiatives encapsulated in the Federal Civil Service Strategy and Implementation Plan 2021-2025. In a communique issued at the end of the 44th meeting of the National Council of Establishment held in Yola, Adamawa State, Dr. Yemieson said that the Federal Civil Service Strategy and Implementation Plan focuses on 6 thematic areas, namely capacity building and talent management, IPPIS human resource model, enterprise content management, innovation, performance management, and staff welfare. She noted that the plan is aligned with the 9 priority areas of the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration, and that concerted efforts are being made to inculcate the right culture and the civil servant, as well as maintain the core values of accountability, meritocracy, professionalism, loyalty, and efficiency. Dr. Yemieson stressed that the reform initiatives in the Federal Civil Service, which have greatly leveraged partnership with private sector, have begun to yield positive results. She then advised state government to explore the possibility of partnership with the private sector, as well as to help accelerate the implementation of their respective reform initiatives. This is the news across the country, coming to you from Osun State Broadcasting Corporation, Voice of the West, Nigeria. Now, I made this message. Time is money. Always endeavor to spend your time wisely. Entertainment news today examines Afrojuju as a type of musical genre in Africa. Lolade Olu Ojengbeje is our guide.
Afrojuju lẹ fẹ́ gbọ́ o, ẹ ṣé o. Bó ṣe máa lùlù tàbí kọrin afrojuju tó máa dàbí ẹni tó ní. Kò sí bó ṣe máa lùlù tàbí kọrin afrojuju tó máa dàbí ẹni tó ní. Oníkọlà jẹ́ òṣè o, ọmọ Pétérù ti dé o. Ṣínà Peter tó láfrojuju. Afrojuju ìfẹ́ sì sílẹ̀ o.
Ẹ̀jẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ lẹ́yìn mi. Ẹ jọ̀wọ́ kí ló pè ní kúrẹ́tọ̀?
Olùdásílẹ̀.
Mo ní kí ló pè ní fáńdà?
Olùdásílẹ̀.
Olúwa Ṣínà Peters.
Afro-Juju is a style of Nigerian music. It's a mixture of Juju and Afrobeat. Between the early 1950s and the late 1990s, Afro-Juju and highlife were widely celebrated throughout Nigeria. Afro-Juju was created by Shina Peters and he released his first album, Ace Afro-Juju Series 1, in 1989. Afro-Juju has deep roots in Juju music and it is an hybridization of traditional and Western musical instruments. Juju music has changed significantly by incorporating modern electronic instruments and gadgets. Afro-Juju is therefore one of the new forms of Juju music. The musical style of Afro-Juju mixes fast beats with the use of keyboard, saxophone, guitar. The musical style of Afro-Juju mixes fast beats with the use of keyboard, saxophone, and the guitar. One of its typical characteristics is loud singing in a very fast tempo. Dominating the Afro-Juju scene, Shina Peter has 16 releases to his credits. In an interview with OSBC Entertainment News, Daniel Okwere describes Afro-Juju as a pleasant deviation from Juju music.
Afro-Juju is a pleasant deviation from Juju music. The fast tempo energizes the listener to dance to the music, and as such, it's also good that the message in the music is not lost to the deviation. Afro-Juju is a style of Nigerian music that infuses Juju music and Afrobeats together to form a kind of fusion, which is now regarded as Afro-Juju, with various...
As Nigerians enjoy Juju music, Afro-Juju also gained wide acceptance, especially among the indigenous people of Yoruba land. Lolade Olu Ojegbeje for OSBC Entertainment News.
Afrojuju Shina Peters ìgbà tí wà lóde. Afrojuju Shina Peters ìgbà tí wà lóde. Tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ rí ẹ ti jórí sí.
Speaker Borno said House of Assembly Honorable Abdulkarim Lawan has called on the federal government and the military to rescue 2 local government areas of the state from the control of Boko Haram insurgents. The local government areas are Zukamala and Kukawa local government areas in the northern senatorial zone of the state. The speaker represents Zukamala made this call while speaking with journalists. Speaker Lawan said his constituency has not been benefiting from basic developmental programs of the state for many years because all budgetary provisions for the state government project executed transparently by Governor Zulum don't capture the needs of its deserted local government area and others like Ukawa due to lack of access and absence of security agencies. The speaker recalls that last year the governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum, inaugurated a committee on the reconstruction and resettlement of Guzamala people to save locations, Gudumbali and Bailari villages within the local government area, but due to lack of security in the general area, the committee has not been able to access the places. The Chief Medical Director, National Medical Center in Kpologo in Agwata local government area of Anambra State, Dr. Stanley Uzueme, has said that no babies were stolen from the hospital. Reports making the round on social media had indicated gunmen stormed the hospital and stole 4 babies. They had allegedly picked up the babies and zooming off in a vehicle. However, while speaking to journalists, he disclosed that the reports were unfounded. According to him, the robbers only stole phones and other valuables from patients and hospital staff. The 30th coronation anniversary of the Ado of Ido in Egbedore local government area of Osun State, Oba Ilyas Oladimeji Ajala, hosts tomorrow morning. Released by the planning committee indicates that the program will hold at the Ido Town Hall. It enjoins invited guests at the program where the Ado will bless sons and daughters of the town, Osun State and Nigeria as a whole. In the meantime, the Gbongon Muslim Community Cemetery will officially be opened for use tomorrow morning. A statement by the chairman Gbongon Muslim Community, Alhaji Taufik Olaleko, indicates that the venue of the event to be hosted by the chief imams of the town will be held at the site of the cemetery located at Okeelu area of the town. It notes that a businessman and philanthropist, Alhaji Mutada Adeyemi, an industrial son of Gbongon, is scheduled to commission the cemetery located on 5 hectares of land. The spiritual leaders expected at the event are the chief imam of Gbongon land, Alhaji Salimon Oluyede, the chief imam of Ansarudin Gbongon, Alhaji Gasale Shitu, and the chief imam of Nawaudin, Nyaji Moruf Igbalajobi Gbongon, as well as League of Imams and Afans in the town. The Balogun of Mugonland, High Chief Kosim Onikbe, will lead other chiefs from Ulufi in council and Bales to the event. Enugu Police Command has beefed up security on the streets of Enugu Metropolis with the development of about hundreds of operatives to restore normalcy. 2 persons were reportedly dead following early morning attack by hoodlums enforcing Simon Ekpa's 5-day sit-at-home order at New Market, Enugu. A viral video shows 2 yet to be identified victims lying in front of the Enugu University Teaching Hospital, Parkland, Enugu. They were early morning traders said to have been hit by the bullets of the sit-at-home enforcers. A police van was also set ablaze in front of Colliery Hospital at New Market, while 2 people were shot dead during the invasion. The development immediately forced Enugu residents indoors for fear of further attack. However, normalcy returned to the axis and across the metropolis few minutes later following the deployment of crack team of police operatives to hunt down the armed hoodlums who shot sporadically and breached public peace in the area. In the meantime, Owerri, the Mose capital, was witnessed a beehive of commercial and social activities today, despite the attacks and killing of some persons across parts of the state by gunmen suspected to be enforcing the sit-at-home order given by Simon Ekpa, a non-pro-Biafra agitator. Reporters said that the situation around the town today observed that people went about their normal activities. The Mose University Junction in Owerri was bubbling as usual, as the gridlock it was known for was visible. The government house roundabout and the Amajeke were also alive as motorists and businesses went on. The Adamawa State Police Command has posted kidnappers hideout as Moromo Hill, connecting parts of Mboy district and Sang local government area of the state. This is contained in a release by the command's spokesperson SP Suleiman Ngoroje. It stressed that suspected kidnappers, upon sighting the police, engaged them in a gun duel. As a result of 2 of them were neutralized. Others escaped with bullet wounds. Interestingly, 4 victims were rescued unharmed. The Commissioner of Police, CP SK Akonde, while commending DPO Song, his men and hunters for disconnecting the criminal network and gallantry performance displayed, direct other DPOs to do same as a strategy for checkmating crimes and criminals in their areas of responsibility. The CP further called on the populace to always inform the police of the whereabouts of criminals and their hideout, especially those on the run with bullet wounds. The family of one Evans Isaac Obaze has declared him missing after reportedly leaving the Redeemed Christian Church of God campground on Thursday. In a graphic illustration carrying the picture of the missing man posted on social media to notify the public of the developments, tweets Evans Isaac Obaze is last seen in the morning at Redemption Camp Gate in a yellow shirt and black trousers. However, when reporters contacted the elder sister, Sarah Obaze, via the telephone. She said that her brother didn't return after visiting the RCCG camp on Thursday. She maintained that the family has contacted Mowe Police Division, the Code of Conduct in the church, and Federal Road Safety Corps, but are yet to get headway from them. A United States journalist, Grant Wall, has died in Doha while covering the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Grant was said to have collapsed during a briefing after the match between Argentina and Netherlands before passing on. His death comes after the journalist made the headlines for wearing a rainbow shirt and was refused entry into the stadium for the USA-Wales match, which had led to him being detained. He had earlier complained of going to the hospital because his body was breaking down, but the symptoms were waved off as bronchitis. Meanwhile, FIFA President Mr. Gianni Infantino has expressed his condolences to the family and friends of the late sport journalist Grant Wall. The FIFA President Mr. Infantino stated this while he paid a condolence visit to his wife Selena, family and friends. Some days ago, Grant Wall was recognized by FIFA and AIPs for his contribution to reporting on 8 consecutive FIFA World Cups, and his career also included attendance at several FIFA Women's World Cups, as well as a host of other international sporting events. His love for football was immense, and his reporting will be missed by all who follow the global game. To recall that the American football journalist Grant Wall was confirmed dead after suffering what doctors termed acute distress while covering the World Cup match between the Netherlands and Argentina at the Lusail Stadium in Qatar. Let's now join Adeyemi Abodere on Sports Updates.
Weeks of excitement, thrills and frenzy. Curtains has finally fallen on the 21st edition of the National Sport Festival in Asaba, Delta State, with parades from all the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Delta State has an unassailable lead on the medals table, with Bayelsa and Edo State trailing in second and third positions. Interestingly, all the participating states except Zamfara have won medals at the biennial event. Minister of Youth and Sport Development, Sunday Dari, will make the announcement of the next all state out of the 6 that have shown interest. Meanwhile, World Soccer Governing Body FIFA has released the final women ranking for the year 2022, and Super Falcons retained its position. Unlike the men's ranking, which comes every month, women's ranking is done every 3 months. According to the ranking released on Friday, former African champions Super Falcons maintain its 45th position in the world and 1st in the continent. African champions Bayana of South Africa is placed in the 2nd position in Africa, but not in the top 50 in the world. Indomitable Lioness of Cameroon, Black Queens of Ghana, and Elephant Ladies of Cote d'Ivoire complete Africa top 5. The new FIFA ranking will be done in the new year as Super Falcons hope to improve in the ranking before the World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. In the meantime, former Super Eagles coach Austin Eguavon has taken responsibility for the Super Eagles' failure to qualify for the ongoing FIFA World Cup in Qatar at the expense of Ghana. Ghana qualified for their 4th World Cup after defeating Nigeria on away goals rule in Abuja. 9 months after Eguavon disclosed that he failed to take the country to the World Cup when he had the opportunity to do and was trusted with the responsibility as head of Nigerian Football Federation Technical Department. Eguavon said we have to start planning now and make sure that Nigeria gets to the next FIFA World Cup in 2026. Nigeria's table tennis youngster Taiwo Mati was the star of the show as he qualified for round of 16 of the ongoing Under-19 African Championship in Tunisia. Mati is the only Nigerian playing in the championship and has continued to show an impressive display. He defeated Australia's Nicholas Lom by 4-2 in the round of 32. Sport Update returns on Monday. My name is Adeyemi.
Report just reaching us says Morocco has qualified for the semi-final of the ongoing FIFA World Cup. The Atlas Lions of Morocco defeated Portugal 1-0 to become the first African country to do so. And to end the news across the country, here again are the major points. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in Katsina State has cautioned politicians and political parties to avoid using provocative and abusive words during campaigns in the state. The National Examination Council has decried the increasing rate of examination malpractice in the country. Entertainment News Today examined Afro Juju as a type of musical genre in Africa. Enugu Police Command has beefed up security on the streets of Enugu Metropolis with the deployment of about hundreds of operatives to restore normalcy. And that was the news across the country, edited by Ulushola Egbodofo. And for more about us, you can visit www.osbcng.org. Thanks for listening. Good evening.
You are live. On Osun Radio. Osun Radio.
Community radio at its best.
104.5.